Good morning, guys. Welcome to part one of a new book that I'll be reviewing called Excelsior, The Amazing Life of Stan Lee. And I want to give a shout out to the podcast founders. I learned about this book listening to the episode and I had to buy it. I'm a fan of Stan Lee, and man, oh man, I did not regret buying this book. It was a very important and crucial investment that I made. So I'm going to read you guys from a chapter called The Start of Something Big. Man, I really love this book, yo. I highly recommend it. In school, reading and composition were always my best subjects. At every meal at home, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I'd have a book or magazine to read while I ate. I remember doing that once in a blue, and also after reading this part, I tried to continue doing that. But honestly, when I'm eating. But I usually love to read after I finish eating, and even before, but it's definitely after. One of the first presents my mother bought me was a little stand to keep on the kitchen table to rest a book against while eating. In truth, one of my darkest secrets is that I've never been comfortable eating unless I'm also reading. So I'm going to skip a few pages forward. After a while, my taste in reading became more electric. I discovered Edgar Allan Poe, Charles Dickens, Edmund Rostand, Emily Zola, and of course Shakespeare. And then there's another part that I'm gonna be reading, and this one hits home because it's from my neighborhood, Washington Heights. In Upper Manhattan on 181st Street, there were 5 theaters within 3 blocks. Wow, how times have changed. Now we have no theaters in Upper Manhattan. The area was heaven to me. Lucky you, Stan Lee. I could see Errol Flynn, Charlie Chan, Roy Rogers, Sherlock Holmes, Gunga Din, Frankenstein, Moby Dick, Charlie Chaplin, and King Kong. Alright, so I'm gonna now read a different chapter of the book, and this one is called War and the Writer. This is one of my favorite chapters of this book. And this is when he was at the army, and when he was at the army, he was writing. And so he loved, educating himself and communicating, and he kept a whole bunch of copies when it comes to writing. He was born to do this. He was absolutely born to do this. The way he studied, the way he's always writing and working on his craft is just phenomenal. I've always been a fast writer, mainly because of my impatience and wanting to get finished as soon as possible. Also, I'm a gregarious guy. I like being with people, talking to people, even arguing with people, but I can't do it when I'm writing. Writing is about as lonely as activity as you can find. Even at home, my friends know not to disturb me when I'm writing, nor can I write and fool around with my wife at the same time. I just sit alone in a room pounding on keys. Of course, one good thing about it is it's cheaper than psychiatry. I can always take my frustrations out on those helpless little keys. I can definitely relate because when I'm writing, I'm all locked in, I'm focused. I don't like distractions either. All right, I'm gonna read you guys 2 more pages from this chapter and then we'll call it a wrap for part 1. Later, I got transferred to Fort Benjamin Harrison in Indiana, where one of my stellar contributions to the war effort was to write the marching song for the Army Finance Department. Yes, Virginia, there really was an Army Finance Department. Somebody had to do the payrolls, and those office commandos needed instruction films as much as the others. As I watched them marching around the field with a sergeant drilling them, it seemed to me they weren't the most spirited group I've ever seen. So I wrote one for them, not knowing how to write music. I simply penned lyrics to match the Air Force song. It caught on big time. They started singing it in cadence while they marched. And this is how the song goes. Off we go into our office yonder, at our desk, morning till night. Far away from any battle's thunder, we pay off the fellas who fight. Clerks alert, guarding our books from blunder. Payroll forms clutter the floor. We write, compute, sit tight, don't shoot. Nothing can stop the fiscal director. And I'll leave it right there for part 1 of this incredible book. If you are a fan of Marvel movies or you just a fan of Stan Lee, I think you guys will definitely appreciate this book. If you're an entrepreneur or a writer, this one also for you. For me, it clicked all cylinders for me. So this is definitely one of the best books that I have on, I can't say bookshelf yet, but I will get a bookshelf. Hopefully sometime this year because I have a lot of books. But this is definitely one of the best books that I have here at home. So thank you for tuning into this part 1 of Excelsior, The Amazing Life of Stan Lee. I'll see you guys next week for part 2 of this book review. Be safe, and may God bless each and every one of you. Take care.